Hey OGs! In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this cute little rapid wrap ornament. By the way, we've got a printable version of our rapid wrap supply list, and I'll link it right below. And also, if you're viewing this on your device, a lot of these items here are actually clickable links. And here's the first thing. You'll need a soft foam cube. My cube is 3 by 3 by 2 inches. You'll need about 50 or so straight pins. If you want to do bows on top, then you're going to need some narrow ribbon. I'm using 3/8 inch wide. You'll need any embellishments that you want to use, so beads, charms, sequins, whatever tickles your fancy. Oh, and I'm going to be putting a braided ribbon band around the outside of my ornament, and I've already got this ready to go. It took me about 10 minutes to make this, and we actually just released a separate video that shows you exactly how to make this. It's way easier than it looks like it is. I'll put the link to that below as well. And then of course you need your fabric. So I'm taking my fabric from one of the fabric bundles that we've got available in the Ornament Girl shop. And this specific deer fabric is from all the way back in around 2017. We had a couple bolts of it still hanging around, so we decided to make some bundles out of it. And I've cut 2 squares out that I'm going to use as my focal fabric. These are about 4.5 inches or so in size. You don't have to cut these out perfectly. You just need to make sure that the image that you want to showcase will fit on the face of your cube with a little bit extra that you can pin along the edges. And then you'll need your long strips of fabric to wrap around the outside of your ornament. We've shown different ways of doing the bands in the various videos that we've done so far on this style of ornament. But for this one, I think I'm just going to be doing 2 bands. And so I've got 2 strips here. They are 3 inches wide by 13 inches long. And then of course, don't forget your tools. You'll need some scissors, possibly an iron. Looks like I could use one of those right now, but I'm not gonna. And that's really about it. Let's go ahead and start. I'm going to start by getting one of my focal squares of fabric centered up the way that I want it on the face of my cube. And then once you've got it where you want it, go ahead and stick a pin into each side, not on the face, but through the side to hold it in place. You can add more pins along each side if you want to, but once you've done that, go ahead and take the corners and fold them inward, just as if you were wrapping a present, and then pin those down as well. That'll get everything nice and smooth at each corner. There's one side done. I'm going to flip this over and do the exact same thing on the other side. Now let's wrap the edge with one of the long bands of fabric. We're going to hold this with the pattern side facing down and then fold in each side lengthwise. And you want to get this so that the width of it is about the width of your cube. So that's about right. And I've started this laying it at the top center. And I'm just going to go ahead and pin it down at both sides to hold it in place for now. And then I'll just kind of work those folds as I work my way around. It really helps if you pin this down a couple times as you work your way around. But think about if you're going to be doing any other bands. If you are, try to pin where your band is going to be. That way it'll be hidden. I'm going to be doing one more band and I'm probably going to center it right over top of this one. So I'm just going to stick a pin right in the center of each side as I work my way around. Coming back to the top, I'm just going to flip the ends over so that that raw edge is hidden, and then I'll give it another pin on each side. There's band 1. I'm going to repeat this with my silver fabric, but this time I'm going to make my band a little bit thinner by folding in the sides a little bit more. This time we don't have to have the width so exact because we're just basically centering it over the one that's already there. I like the way that this looks. I'm starting at the same spot, and you know what I just thought of? My braided ribbon band. I want a little more silver to show actually, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that again and just widen this up a little teeny bit. I have a little more excess this time, so I'm gonna snip off some of that so I don't have to fold over quite so much. Okay, there's band number 2. This is not perfect up here as you can see, but I'm going to be putting a bow up top too, so I'm really not worried about any of those imperfections. And I'm just going to center my braided ribbon right over top. Well, that's very pretty. All right, let's do a bow. So I've got 4 strips of ribbon here, 2 that are 13 inches long and 2 that are 12 inches. I'm going to set aside the 12-inch ones for a minute, and I'm going to show you how to make our gift bow style bow. It's really quick and easy. First thing I'm going to do is fold these 2 13-inch strips of ribbon in half, and then where they crease in the center, I'm going to go ahead and snip them to then have 4 pieces. And then I'm going to pin right through the middle of each one of these strips. And if you want to make it easier to find the center, just fold them in half again, but don't cut, and then pin right there at the crease. I'm just gonna eyeball the rest. It also does not matter what order you put these onto your pin. And by the way, this ribbon is double-sided, but if you had a single-faced ribbon, you'll want to pin down through the good side so that your pin is sticking out through the bottom. Now we're just going to take each one of these strips and just individually, one by one, flip them over and then pin them right back onto the pin, forming a loop. And just go right around and do all 8 ends. And there we go. Now we have a pretty bow. And I'm going to put this right down on top of the top center of my ornament. And of course I hit some glue from the braided ribbon. So I'm going to use a fabric scrap to help me push that down. And there we go. I'm going to repeat that with my other 2 strips of ribbon, which are a little bit shorter. And that's going to give me slightly tinier loops so that I get a tiered look with my bow. Oh, and if this is your top bow, feel free to add like a bead or a sequin or something to your pin before you pin down through your strips. And that'll just give you a pretty little touch at the top of your ornament. Pin this right on top of the first bow. And there you go. I'm also going to decorate with a couple little sequins. Okay, now we have fancy antlers. So guys, I hope that you had fun making this. And don't forget, you can get our printable supply list right below. If you have any questions, please ask. And if you're going to try making this, please hit the like button because it really helps us. And of course, subscribe if you don't want to miss any of our other fabric and ribbon ornaments that require no sewing. Thanks for watching.